Well, let's look at one of our top stories tonight, which is the terror threat that has been issued by the U.S. Embassy over the Sandton precinct over this weekend. Let's take you to Willem Els, who is with the Institute for Security Studies tonight. Willem, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Firstly, let's talk about then what we know now about this threat. Of course, we have since seen a response to it, including from the President, who has also expressed dissatisfaction in the way in which it has been made available or was announced to the public.
Yes, good evening to you. The development start. I think we should just turn just one step back and see how it happened and what the purpose of this whole thing was. The American embassy picked up some threats and some credible threats. And then the protocol then normally is that they will share that with the local intelligence agencies, and they will then go into discussions, try to verify, etc., share information, and also these embassies will also share with their counterparts at the other embassies in South Africa. So that is normally the process. And what they then did is, because, the day after tomorrow is the date mentioned in that alert, they posted this alert for American citizens on their website and actually alerted them about a possible threat in that area. That was then picked up by the media, and then it was became big news in South Africa. The challenge that we have, and that is what we also advocated ever since, is it's not the time to panic now, and I think that is also the response of the government, that they are trying to downplay the seriousness of this, not maybe because it's not serious, but because also that they want to mitigate the panic that is certain that has erupted in the country.
Willem, from what you understand about how these talks take place behind the scenes, is there a lead time that we would be given from the time that the officials that have received the security threats inform the government versus the time when they actually go public with it? And does the South African government actually have a say over whether or not the U.S. Embassy can publish this information?
I think we should look at it at the background, against the background. South Africa's got quite a few embassies in many countries. Say, for instance, in Lesotho, South Africa would have picked up a credible threat against its citizens. It would have done the same as the Americans. That is protocol. That is normal procedures. We see that they issue a threat or an alert in Nigeria as well, and they even removed the non-essential personnel from there. So that is not only in South Africa. So this is something that I think we should take personal. There is normally the procedure is that these agencies will share with each other and try to work out something in order to mitigate. We must also understand that Americans understand very well that should they issue a warning like that, the consequences and the possible fallout, not only with the panic of the public, but also with the local government or the government itself. So it's not something that they should have taken very lightly, and I don't think they did. So that indicates to me that there might be some credibility in this process as well.
Of course, the South African government has questioned the credibility of those statements. In fact, it has gone as far as saying, as far as it's concerned, this information is not credible. Many people will be asking themselves what then they need to do over the next couple of days, especially if they work or even live in the Sandton area.
Unfortunately, so, the events in the past year, especially if you think back on the events of last July, where the intelligence agencies were really not up to what they were supposed to do. I don't think there's a big trust from the public in them at the moment to really fulfill this mandate that they've got. We know that in the meantime they really try to upgrade their game, and we also know that there are many people in these agencies that are really working very hard, maybe against the odds, to make South Africa safe for us. But the challenge is that South Africans' intelligence services have been challenged, and that was demonstrated in the recent events. So I think that is why we should look at the foreign agencies, what they bring in. You remember the Tulsi twins that were arrested and convicted in South Africa. That intelligence and information did not come from our intelligence services. It also came from the Americans. So we cannot disregard your foreign intelligence agencies and the intelligence and the value that they can bring in making South Africa safe, not only for their citizens but also for ours.
So what then do you think would be the appropriate response from the government? We know that there are some big cultural events that are taking place in Sandton this weekend. Those organizers have decided to go ahead. And I imagine that, life on some level can't come to a standstill just because of this looming threat. At the same time, people also want to make sure that they proceed with caution. So what is the right kind of response to a warning of this nature?
You are so right. Just to go back to, I think the South African government is to some extent embarrassed by the whole situation, but they also want to downplay it in order to prevent panic. And as you said, we cannot get to a standstill. We can't just cease living and do what we do. On the other hand, we know, and South Africa is very fortunate that we had the experience of planning and preparing for this the 2010 Soccer World Cup. So there's a lot of experience still within the police. There are a lot of procedures in place in order to put these contingency plans in place. So I would believe that our intelligence service, along with our special forces and all the other role players, they have got their plans in place, and they will be out in full force to not only to mitigate the whole situation, but to prevent something, but also, if they cannot manage to prevent it, to react to an incident like that. That's it for the South African public. Due to what I believe the credibility of the threat, we don't know. We simply don't know. And if you don't know, you can rather be safe than sorry. So if you do not really have to be in that area over this period, do not go there. If you have to be in that area, continue with your life, be diligent, be on the watch out. If you see something out of place, call the police and inform them. On the other hand, if there is an attack and you're in the middle of the attack, you take your necessary cover, you protect yourself, and then also, very important, do not panic and listen to the instructions of your first responders on the scene.
All right. Willem Els, we'll have to leave it there for tonight.